Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everybody. This is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you in the month of December, since it is Christmas time and the holiday time, about The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Season 1 episode, Deck the Halls. This is a very interesting Christmas episode, mostly because of the neighbors and why they got so bent out of, Christmas decorations of all things. But the other Christmas episode in season 2 is a little bit more funnier. It just not really has something to do with Christmas. It's just them getting robbed and everything. But at least, Vivian's sisters came to visit. And so, with this episode, man, after watching that reunion special, it's still so sad about James Avery. Because he was Uncle Phil, man. Like, he was everybody's uncle. Like, normally on shows, you have, those sitcom dads. But you rarely have those sitcom uncles and stuff. And normally, if they are the uncle, they're like the kind that always hitting on women, or the kind that's always trying to con people. But he was completely different, man. James Avery, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just Uncle Phil in the voice of Shredder and stuff. And the voice of R.L. Stein in The Nightmare Room. Even though I really didn't like that show that much, like Goosebumps or The Haunting Hour. But still, he had a scary voice and stuff. And the dude who plays the guy at the decoration place, he died too a few years back, I remember he was on Wizards of Waverly Place and some other stuff, and man, just like so sudden, you know. And so this episode always been unusual to me because, I don't know, it's weird. Like, the neighbors had got so bent out of shape because they decorated their house. And it really makes you wonder if, snooty rich people were like that back in the early 90s, you know? Like, they don't like to go all out for, Christmas, and like to do things more, I don't know, what's the word? Like, they like to do things more rustic and majestic and stuff like that. And so it's just always weirded me out. And so with this episode, you have Carlton, who's hanging out with his glee club, and so they're doing their shenanigans. And so, it always cracks me up whenever there's a white person on the show, especially back in the earlier season, because they were so odd and goofy and stuff. And so, with Hillary, she's talking to some famous people on the phone, and Will's all like, you always talking about these famous people, but I ain't never seen you hang out with nobody famous. So they really don't got storylines, but the storyline mostly to do with, Ashley. Ashley was always one of my favorites. I used to have a crush on her, boy, growing up. And so, with her, she has nobody to hang out with for Christmas, none of her friends. And so she's just going to spend, the holidays learning big words and everything. Big, fancy words. And so Will thinks that's just so sad, pathetic, and, depressing. And all I can think about is the clothes people used to wear back in the 90s, man. God. But I'll tell you one thing, the hairstyles too, Will and Carton's, you don't see that no more. You'll see an afro come back. You'll see braids and stuff come back, and micro braids, but you'll never see the flat tops no more. And so, I used to remember those rectangle, square looking heads, man. So, like a building block or something. And so, Will, he has to go pick up the Christmas decorations that Viv had picked out for, the place they have to go. And it's the dude who, passed away. And so, Will does not like nothing he sees in there because it's just all, boring and bland, and it doesn't scream Christmas to him. So, he's going to give Ashley, a real Christmas and stuff. And so he takes the money and he literally decks the halls and the outside with huge Christmas decorations. And while Uncle Phil and Viv are driving back, boy, they cannot believe what they are seeing. And so actually, she's just excited, man. You know what I'm saying? But then here comes the neighbors, and they're angry. And so they're all old and talking about, oh, this is like an abomination and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And what will people think of our neighborhood and blah, blah, blah. But who cares what they think? Now, most likely they probably lived in like a gated community and in places like that, or not even so much a gated community, but like a really fancy like neighborhood where there's like a person who's kind of like in charge, and if they don't like what's on your yard, they can have you like remove it. I don't like places like that. I will never live in a place like that. You ain't gonna tell me what I can't put on my yard and everything. And so, like, at some point, Will's on the phone because one of the neighbors is angry. And so he's all like, yo, man, like, whatever, we can do this right here, right now. Come to my house and stuff. And then I forgot what he said. So he said something about something squirrel looking for a nut or something like that. Talking about how he'll fight the man and stuff like that. And so with the neighbors fighting and everything, Ashley just decides she'll give up and she'll get to put the decorations down. And as soon as her and Will about to go do that, here comes some carolers, some little kids and everything. And they're talking about how like they always find the best house and then they sing and stuff like that. And so that really warmed up Ashley's heart to where she decided she's keeping her decorations. And then the special guest comes in. The person who's pissed at Will is Evander Holyfield. And he still has both his ears. And so he's ready to fight Will until he sees Hillary. And turns out she does know famous people and stuff. And so, with Ashley being so happy and excited, she just decided she's just going to keep her decorations and the neighbors can just deal with it. I mean, how can they hurt the feelings of a little kid? You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things. But this is a pretty nice, simple, like Christmas episode. I'm glad that it's like not like other Christmas episodes where like, somebody getting snowed in, they have to spend Christmas in like the bus stop or something like that, or like somebody's family they're supposed to go visit but can't, and so they go visit with somebody else. Like I get tired of seeing that crap in like sitcoms and stuff. Bah humbug, that was a good episode. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you later. Bye.